Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome today to Space Engineers by Keen Software House. This is a game that I've had sitting on my Steam library for ages, and I've been meaning to do a video on it, and it's kind of got left behind, but this week I've been playing it a lot, so I thought now is the best time to do a video on it. So yeah, for anyone who doesn't really know what this is, it's a sort of sandbox survival game set in space where you construct your own ships, space bases, mine meteors for resources and all other kinds of things. So I'm going to load a creative game because the survival's a little bit limited and it's kind of better with multiplayer. So this is full co-op for the survival aspect. Creative is literally as it would be in any other game, you just create stuff, which I'm having a bit of fun with because I'm still figuring a few things out. So yeah, this is the little space base that I am currently using. When you first start a game you get to choose whether you'd like some extra help, as it were, when you start. So I started with a pre-built space base, which is pretty cool. I've had two of these little blue ships made. That one's been destroyed a little bit, and this one's pretty healthy. This is one of the pre-built ships, which is pretty cool looking, I've got to say. And then I did also have two massive ships that were pre-built, which you can see over there. I was flying the red one and decided that I would crash into the blue one, thinking that would be a great idea, and just blew it straight in half and took the front off the red one as well. They also did leave a destroyed frame for pretty much one of them ships where you can repair it and try and build your own. But I then started messing with things. There's just a random piece of that one that's come off during my messing around. So the first thing I did, I built this weird space car, which, yeah, that was the very first thing I built, which is just odd, to say the least. Works but it's odd. Then I built this little weird plane thing that I was working on, just for a bit of a try out a few different things. And then just before this video I very quickly put together a large ship. Just very, very quickly. It really doesn't work very well at all. But I hadn't tried building a big one yet, so I've mostly been doing the little ship, so let's just quickly show you this. So, controls are a little bit fiddly. Okay, so in here, let's just actually shut some of these doors, shall we? There you go. Right, so in here, we've got the cockpit at the front, which is pretty cool. Then here we've got a gravity generator so that we can actually walk around here and we don't just float around the cockpit. You don't need those in the smaller ships because you can't really walk around in them. I have the gyroscope, I think it is, which just literally allows me to control the ship and fly around in different directions, and then the rest of these are reactors to power the insane amount of thrusters on this thing. So let's go into this. Oh, we'll go into cockpit view for now. So at the minute you can see on the right hand side at the very bottom it says I've got landing gears locked, so if you press P you unlock the gears, which allows you to actually take off. So you can see in that little ship in front they've got the green band around them. That means that that's locked in place. They're yellow when they're in proximity, and then they completely lose colour when you start flying away. So I may actually be able to see them from the back. Not quite, no. Unfortunately with these large ships you don't really get much of a view. So we can start taking off. I can also turn these lights off as well. So I had lights all over the ship to just help me guide myself in when I'm flying around. So this ship's not too bad for going forwards, but it's very awkward to manoeuvre in directions because I put big thrusters going forward and large thrusters going back to stop it quickly. But the side ones are all smaller thrusters. So I will inevitably put more small thrusters on it. I mean, the turning circle when it still's quite good, if not actually a little bit overpowered there. So yeah, it's a pretty cool little thing. And then you could strap a number of guns and other tools onto this, which I'll try and show you some of them in a second. But first of all, I'm going to try and land. I don't actually know, is this wide enough to take this ship this way? Let's see if I can... Let's try and level a little bit. I don't actually know if it can park this way. So this is going to be interesting. Let's turn these lights on. That's not going to help at all, is it? Right, it looks like we're over it now. Let's start bringing it down. Nice and slow. We don't want to crash anything. So there is full destruction on this game as well, which is pretty cool. Same as if like you break bits off your ship and there's no gravity in the area, it will just float away. All things are in proximity apparently. Okay, let's lock. You can also turn the reactors off to just turn everything off. At the minute I leave it turned on because that gravity generator there actually affects outside, because otherwise this platform doesn't actually have any gravity. So let's see how I did there. I have actually landed. My god, it's a miracle. I've probably caused a little bit of, yeah, you can see here I've caused a little bit of damage to this. So by the name you can tell it's Space Engineer, so you can actually repair these blocks. So it's kind of based on like a voxel system, but they can warp out of shape, and you can see here how they will just warp back in place. And it's pretty cool the way they've done it. It's very clever. It's simple but very clever. Works really well. So yeah, there you go, and you can see how that starts to look a little bit more straight. So say if you wanted to build a new ship, you can just open up the menus here, which is at the minute all the current different things that you can build, and then you can pick what type of new thing you want to build. So like say if I want to build a new small ship, this is the first thing you start with, and you can place this literally anywhere, and that is your starting point. So let's say if I was to put that just there. Now I can technically knock that, but I think it's actually, because it's green, it's actually connect. Oh well, there we go. There was a random hole in. That's been damaged. Okay, I didn't know about that. Well, there you go. So yeah, there's a hole there for some bizarre reason. Oh, that's where I quickly extended this platform. Yeah, that's my own fault. Okay, but let's say you use some square blocks. So you can see someone here. If I hold this on the big ship, you can see the size of that voxel that you would build on that. You can't change the size of that block. If I put it on the station, they're about the same size. But if I bring it over to this, which is classed as a small ship, it will automatically scale it down, which is pretty cool. So then you can, like, if you hold down control while you do this, you'll drag out straight lines. And if you hold control and shift as you've got it there, you can drag out actual, like, platforms. Like that, which is pretty cool. And then it's literally a case of... Oh dear, I wasn't supposed to do that. Oh dear. Whoops. Oh joy. Oh well, leave it there. It's not causing any trouble. So yeah, you can build that way. And then you would just slowly build up a basic structure. You'd put a cockpit on there, a gyroscope, thrusters, reactors to give it all power. And then you can also start going into things such as weapons and tools. So you have hand versions of all of these, but you can put obviously giant versions onto these ships. So for example, if I wanted to put a rocket launcher onto this giant ship, you can see here how big that would actually be. And you can literally just clip them anywhere. So let's say if I wanted to put some there, that now has a rocket launcher. And then just for the sake of symmetry, I'll put another one there. And then we could go into said ship. I will just turn that off. There we go. Ooh, flying with a jetpack can be a little awkward at times. And then we enter the cockpit, and now you can see up here this ship, it has a rocket launcher, so we can now take that. Let's just quickly fly up a little bit. When you actually aim at something, you will actually see red dots appear, so that's where your missiles are going to hit. So let's just turn this just a little, and then we can fire. And then you can see I can then just punch holes straight through this meteor. There you go. And then all the bits of debris fly everywhere. So you can literally deform everything. So there's a random structure over there. We can just destroy that into tiny, tiny bits. And I've probably just blown a massive hole in the space station. But oh well. There's other random creations that I've abandoned halfway through. Wonderful. Right now, got to try and bring this thing back down without breaking too much. Let's level out a little bit. Ooh. Okay, I think we're down. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect anyway. Oh, there we go. I may have put a bit too much thrust going down. Oh well, I can repair that. So yeah, and your tools can deform as well. So on that original car that I had, you saw on there that was a huge drill that you can use to go into meteors and stuff and actually mine for resources. And then you'll see above these lights, these discs, that's actually an ore detector. So if I actually go and get in this cockpit here, so there you go, you can see all the different ores. So you got iron, uranium, cobalt, silver, and that'll just tell you where to find it within a radius. So that's pretty cool, and then you can literally just go and drill through that and it'll collect it. There's all kinds of conveyor belt systems you can use, so like as it drills from that it will filter it through. In fact, the easiest one for me to actually show you is on this pre-built plane, because it actually has a conveyor belt system in it. So here you go. You can see here, with these guns are actually what's connected, so like in survival mode you have to feed things ammo. So these connect to the guns. They go along these tubes and connect to some more conveyors, which are also feeding some very small cargo bays. Go back even further into some more tiny cargo bays, and then there's a huge one in the centre, which is basically what this whole thing's built around, which you can just see it under there. So you could have, say for example, I could take these guns off and put giant drills on the front of this. As I was drilling, all that ore would get filtered into these conveyors, and then you could just come over, interact with whatever panel you can find, and then you can open them up and then put them into storage. So you got plenty of meteors around to go and do just that. You can also build all these different types of structures as well. So there's a rocket launcher here that is currently, I believe, just targeting no, I don't want the cargo for it. I want the actual... Oh, that's not the panel, that would be why. There it is. There you go, so this is currently just targeting meteors, and it is using a conveyor system. It doesn't target missiles and it doesn't target moving objects. Remember, it doesn't target moving objects is because that will target anything that moves. So there's several on this base just to protect it from random meteors that can come down and smash it up. But obviously if you were in, say for example you hosted a multiplayer game where you were attacking each other's bases and things like that, then maybe you would have some that would shoot down moving things, and you'd have a point on your base that you knew you could access without coming into those line of sights. So yeah, that's a very basic overview of everything you can do at the minute. There is a crazy amount you can do. People have, because there is Steam Workshop with this as well, so people have built crazy things like moving conveyor arms, so that like, as you activate it, it will automatically, like, an arm will come out of a space station. You can use it to line up ships and refuel ships. People have recreated ships from several games, including like Halo, Warhammer, even some films as well, like Battlestar Galactica, well, TV shows, Battlestar Galactica and things of that nature, Star Trek. It's pretty cool, all the crazy things that people have built. Unfortunately, I think I'm a bit conservative with my size, so I tend to try and fit everything in kind of small, so it always ends up with these little stubby kind of builds. Whereas, like, I mean, you can see there for scale the way the pre-built ones are. In fact, let's just really quickly, before we wrap this up, take this ship. Right, so I need to turn the reactors on, unlock the landing gear, and then we can go. There we go. So this one's got several guns on it as well. We can have a bit of fun with. Right, so this is a nice bit of faster ship compared to the others. So there you go. I mean, this is a pre-built ship here. It came with it. Oh, that did have a much... You can see whether it was meant to be there before. I took all the front of that off because I decided to crash it through another similar size ship that had a... Basically, like a thin... If you look at that ship that was back there, the wreckage that was back there, it's got like a thinner hull on it. So I crashed it straight through the centre and ripped the ship in half. Just because I wanted to test out the physics. As stupid as that sounds. So yeah, that's now just spinning in its own orbit, and then that's just locked there because it's still got the gyroscope and stuff in it to stop it doing so. So yeah, you can do some pretty crazy things. Then earlier when I was messing about, I've crashed so many ships on this thing now. And when I've been messing with missiles and drills and all kinds of stuff straight through here. I think that was actually where I drilled straight through one, I think. Can't remember. So yeah, there you go, you can see it much better from here. So I took that big ship and I crashed it through that centre part, and yeah, it just imploded on itself. Right, now I've got to try and land this thing so I don't lose it, because I want to try at some point to try and rebuild this ship just by looking at it, because so far my ships always end up looking pretty shit. Only thing I don't like on this ship is where the landing gear's positioned, but kind of doesn't matter that much. There you go. And lock. Let's turn all them off. And bang. There you go. So yeah, that's a little look at Space Engineers. It is an early access game. It's still very much in development. They do update it very regularly, and it's a really cool game. I imagine it being just the best in multiplayer. I think that's where you get the most from it. But I have been having a great deal of fun with the creative, just making all these kind of crazy ships with walls of diggers and grinders and stuff. So just to briefly explain that bit before I go, the different tools, obviously you've got weapons, you've got the drill, which obviously kind of self-explanatory, it drills things so you can get ores and things. Then you've got a grinder, which you can actually use to grind existing things to try and harvest the materials back. Welders is literally a ship version of the welder that you saw me using before to repair things. And you can also use these the landing gears, to tug other ships, so they will lock to anything that they touch. So say for example you wanted to have a bit of a ship that was like a tug, so it could pull other damaged ships around. For an example, you could strap say if I got this big ship, I could strap landing gears to the front of it, say there, where I'm looking now, and then go and park it onto one of those big ships, lock all the gears in place, and then actually push it with this ship, or pull it, depending on obviously where you put the gears. I imagine building it on the back would be quite difficult though. So that's kind of cool, but you've just got to make sure that you've got enough thrust and enough power to deal with both the weight loads, because it's all very physics based. It's pretty cool though. So yeah, that's a very brief look at Space Engineers at the current time. I'm really enjoying it and I would highly recommend it. So I do apologise I haven't covered this game sooner. It's just one of them that I kind of left a little bit too long, and just stuff was always coming up before. But yeah, highly recommended. And if you're a creative soul, probably you'd get a lot better results out of it than I will, because I'm not the most creative. I tend to look at things a little bit too simply. I like everything being a little too small and efficient, whereas these are a little bit more elaborate, but they look a lot cooler. And that's just one of the small ships, so yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, drop me a comment and tell me what you think, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much, and hopefully I will see you soon. Bye bye.